And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Hello, sunshine-loving Buccaneers fans and listeners. Welcome to RBLR Bucs, the podcast that's as bright as sunny as the Florida skies, well, most of the time. But I'm Musab. I'm one of your co-hosts tonight and a resident ray of the Florida sunshine, here to bring you all that warmth and insight from the heart of Buccaneers country. Now, let's be honest, my friends, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows this past weekend. We might have faced a tough loss against those Falcons, but as they say, after every storm comes a rainbow. And our next destination on this Buccaneers journey is a Week 8 matchup against the Bills, but it could be another storm before we see another rainbow. Sorry, I'm just being honest. But hey, I've got some positive vibes for you in my playbook, so get ready to soak up an upcoming victory, maybe, just maybe, I don't know, but grab those flip-flops, a cold drink, and settle in for a fun-filled Buccaneers fiesta right here on RBLR Bucs. But before we set sail for that adventure, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the co-hosts who bring the rays of football knowledge to this podcast paradise. Standing right alongside me, the guy who brings the radiant energy to the show. He is Zach Blaine. Zach, talk to me, man. What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I wish I could be more positive. It's getting harder and harder to come on here and bring positivity for sure, brother.
I'm hoping wherever you went to that, what was that place you went to that you were gonna go before the game?
Oh, it's like the sandwich place.
It was like, yeah, the sandwich place.
Yeah, I'm never going there again.
All right, there you have it.
I'm up now.
Okay.
I had to finally wash my jersey because we lost to a trash team, so I had to finally wash my lucky jersey. Like it just, it's just going downhill.
All right. Well, maybe we have some uphills
Fingers
from our other
crossed,
co-hosts. He is joining us in the sea of Buccaneers fandom. He's got that golden touch of statistical brilliance. He is Carter Brantley. Carter, talk to me, man. How are you doing tonight? What's going on in your mind? And I forgot what you were going to have for your game day snack, but I'm hoping you weren't disappointed like our friend Zach.
Honestly, I don't even remember either, to be quite honest. It seems like a long time ago, but no, it was a tough weekend, for sure for the Bucs. Definitely not a whole lot of fun, and we'll get into it as we go along in this episode. But yeah, obviously, they lost 16-13, a game-winning field goal by Young Hoku, one of the best kickers in football and one of the coolest names. Yeah, it was just a very weird. Both teams played awful. Like both teams looked terrible. Like neither team won this game. Like the Falcons didn't win this game. The Bucs didn't play well enough to win this game. The Falcons just kind of lucked into winning it. They had 3 turnovers in the red zone. Each one was like closer and closer to the end zone until eventually Desmond Ridder had it punched free and it went out of bounds in the end zone. It was just a really weird game. And thankfully, it's over, and we won't have to watch the Bucs play the Falcons for a little bit, and I'm sure there'll be some wacky stuff that happens in that game too. The whole division just looks bad, but we'll get into all that as well. I think the biggest story is obviously on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was fine, like we mentioned, the 3 forced turnovers, and the offense just looked putrid. Like if you score 13 points, you're not going to win very many football games. Just plain and simple. And a lot of that has to do with the running game. I had a little tweet thread about it, but I want to hear y'all's thoughts. It sucks. Where do we go from here? It's been a while since the Bucs running game has been any good. So, I mean, is there a solution to it? Musab, we'll start with you. I know, Zach, you've got your own thoughts about it. So, Musab, is there a solution for that?
Very much do.
I mean, just a couple of things that we could possibly think about when it comes to solutions. First of all, is that combination of poor interior kind of run blocking, as well as the lack of creativity in the run game. And the other part is, how do we fix it? We kind of shop around or something, because whatever we got right now, is not working out at all. And I'm sure Zach's about to go in on this as well. But they're missing the holes they've seen as well. I don't know. It's just I think it's been solidified now in my brain that our running game is absolutely hopeless. And I feel like now in the future, all these defensive coordinators, when they play against us, they don't have to worry too much about it just because we're going to do the worrying for them.
For sure. Zach, have at it. I want to hear what you got to say on this one.
All right, listen, this run game is awful. Is it all on Rachaad White? No. But my biggest issue with Rachaad White, I went back, watched some film from this week and past weeks. Rachaad White runs the ball like he's just reading a book. Like he's like, how to explain that? That doesn't sound right because reading a book only gets open.
I love reading.
Yeah, no, it's more like he looks at a picture and he goes, all right, I'm supposed to go from this point to this point right here, and just goes that point no matter what. There's no creativity when it comes to him running the ball, which is so weird to me because as a receiver, I will give him his credit. He is a good receiving back. I will not take that away from him. As a pass catcher, I would love to have him on this team. Like, I don't want him to be off the team. I just think his role needs to be reduced because when it comes to just running the ball, it seems like he's very, all right, this is a run between the right guard and the right tackle. I'm going to hit that gap, and no matter what. I watched just the first half today of last week's game or the Atlanta game, and I counted 4 times that there was one cut he could have made, and it would have been a positive gain. I'm not saying it would have been a touchdown, but it would have been a positive game or a positive gain, as opposed to him just hitting the back of the offensive lineman because it seems like he's just tunnel vision going through the holes.
Right. So I guess my but like my follow-up question would be, what do you do to fix it? Like we'll get into Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is healthy. He is on track to play tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. So do you want to see more carries from Edmonds? Maybe do you think that do you try to trade for someone? Do you try to sign someone? I mean, what's the solution in your mind, since obviously White's not really working out? The interior offensive line is pretty bad. But what's y'all's like? Where do you go from here? Like, do you maybe bring in another guy, you think, Zach?
If it's me, yeah, I'm bringing in at least one other guy. I mean, I know Tampa doesn't have the money, but we have some contracts that if we had to trade, I wouldn't be opposed to get a sufficient running back in there. I can't stress enough, I do not think it's all on Rachaad White. But I think a big part of it is it could be helped by a running back with more ball carrier vision. Like someone who's got more vision of the whole field and not just what the playbook says, if that makes any sense at all. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if it makes sense when it comes out of my mouth.
No, I get you.
So I think that along with signing a new running back or trading for a new running back, we need to I think it's time that we look into centers, whether it's in the draft next season, which is probably what it's going to be, but it wouldn't hurt to bring in someone to give Hainsey a little bit of a wake-up call as well, because he's a big part of the problem.
For sure. And what's so disappointing, I think, is that this offensive line is really good in pass protection. Like, they're actually pretty solid in that regard. So it's very questionable, very weird why they're so bad in run protection.
And I saw something today, and it said it was kind of talking about the Bucs run game and how last year we were the worst. I believe we were the worst in the league at 3 yards per carry, and we've gotten worse. Like, as a team, we're averaging 2.8 yards a carry right now. No team has finished under 3 yards per carry since the 1994 Patriots. And that was an awful team.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So when you look at that, our pass blocking we're not the best in the league at pass blocking. We're kind of like, I wouldn't say we're middle of the road. We're a little higher than middle of the road, but my issue with it is that good enough to not kind of shuffle around? Like, in my mind, I would shuffle around to try and get a better run game. Maybe put them both in the middle of the field, or in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think of the Rays. They have Taylor Walls at shortstop. Like, is his defensive abilities enough to outweigh his offensive inefficiencies? So
Exactly, and you've got
kind
to
of
take like you got to find a happy middle ground, and I don't
right,
think that our pass game is our pass blocking is
right, good enough to outweigh them.
exactly
For
exactly.
sure. So Musab, I have a question for you. If let's say that the Bucks go out, they trade for a running back, they trade for Derrick Henry. They give up the third round pick for him. They do all of that, and they still end up dead last or near the bottom in rushing. What then? Like, what do the Bucks do then?
Yeah, I mean, then if obviously then the problem's not the running back, clearly it's going to have to be something with, again, as I mentioned, the lack of creativity with the run game and what we want to do. And then again, with the kind of run block game as well. Listen, as much as I want to keep on focusing on drafting, young linemen year by year or this upcoming draft, I think it's also important that we try to find some experienced guys as well. Just
Absolutely.
because I mean, it's not just going to work out if we just even if we get the best of the best linemen from the NCAA, the transition can always be a hit or miss. So, that's kind of just where I stand. Those are the three issues, as to how we can fix this: creativity, run blocking game, when it comes to our linemen. And then, as Zach mentioned already, I mean, I totally agree with his kind of statement on when it comes to having a vision. The best kind of players in every sport always kind of have a different vision. They don't just follow the playbook no matter what. So the fact that, yeah, Rashad White is just kind of just sticking to the playbook, just doing as he's told, and just kind of being very kind of hard headed on, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. Clearly, it's not working for us at all. It's rather embarrassing. So, um, it's going to take time, though, to fix this as well. I don't think it's just, this is going to be kind of an overnight fix, um, which sucks, unfortunately, but we'll see how it goes. But that's where I stand right now.
Now,
Yeah,
I want to, if you don't mind, Carter, I want to
please.
go to you with a question because you
Oh,
had
yeah,
touched on Derrick Henry, and we had this conversation in our group chat.
for
Um,
sure.
and I mean, for you guys listening and watching, maybe you could answer this in the comments for us. How many yards per carry do you think Derrick Henry would actually be able to average behind this line?
Yeah, I'm gonna go a solid 3.5, maybe at most. I just it's really bad. Like he gets the ball and then he's met with two interior defensive linemen that are 300 pounds because Cody Mouch and Robert Hainsey are basically turnstiles. Like, Derrick Henry's great. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL, but there's no one that's going to be able to, break both of those tackles. I don't know. Jerome Bettis is no longer in the NFL. I just, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it would be a step up. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be, Rashad White and Derrick Henry are on the same
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
No, of course not. Like, there would be an improvement. I just don't know that it would be a significant enough improvement to warrant giving up a third round pick for it, especially for a team that's in kind of flux with this roster. Like, they got off to a great start, but moving forward, I don't know. If they're sitting at 3-5 after this week, or 3-4 or 3-5 in a few weeks, how do you justify investing in this team? How do you justify giving up future draft picks for a team that seems to be on the downturn? Which kind of leads me to my next question for y'all. Are the Bucs still playoff contenders? I mean, after this loss, they've dropped down to 40% playoff probability. So it's looking a bit rough, but they're still in a very winnable division. It's kind of the NL Central of the NFL, or the AL Central of the NFL. It's really bad. The Falcons are not a good team, and they're in first place right now. So there's still a chance in my mind. I think they're still contenders, but Musab, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to really say that with any confidence, because they don't look good. So are the Bucs still playoff contenders in your mind?
I don't think so. Honestly, this loss was just really embarrassing. I feel like we were on this random kind of excitement. Oh, look at us. We took down the crappy Bears, the crappy Vikings. We had a solid game against the Saints. And now we're looking good. We were 3-1, and then now look at us. Um, if anything, we might be able to scrape by. I mean, I'm talking just like, oof, congrats, we made it to the playoffs. But I think we'd all know by then that we have absolutely no chance to do anything in the playoffs. But honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards not making it.
Wow.
It's been really ugly. Um, could be ugly tomorrow. At this point, I just kind of want to see. I just want to see, where we stand, because if we're now losing to the Atlanta Falcons, who honestly, they were not a test. That Lions game was a test for us to really kind of let us know where we stand. But the way we played against Atlanta is just rather embarrassing. Listen, it happens to all teams, throughout the whole season, but not like that. Not when they got 3 red zone turnovers. I mean, they were just handing us that win, and we just didn't want it.
Yeah. That's harsh, but it's truth. It's the reality. And reality sucks. I'm with you. I don't know if I can call the Bucs playoff contenders. They're going to be really hard to look at. I think there are going to be some ugly games in the next few weeks because they got this Bills game, they got the 49ers, they got the Jaguars. It's going to be brutal moving forward. Absolutely. Zach, how about you? Are they playoff contenders in your mind still?
I think you nailed it perfectly. They are playoff contenders, but only because they play in this division. Right. If they were in any other division, I would agree with Musab 100%. Like, they're not a playoff contender. But I do agree with him that they are a one and done in the playoffs if they get into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be tough. But since we've been so negative for this first part of the episode, let's try to sprinkle in some positivity. So we got some players of the week. There were still some guys that played pretty well. We don't want to just poo-poo all over the whole roster because, there's some talented guys out there working hard, playing hard. So Musab, we'll start with you. Who's your player of the week for the Bucs?
Mine was Mike Evans, just because, there was only so much positivity from this game. He was one of them on the offensive side. I think the defense did solid. I do want to give a shout out to some of those guys. But for me, it was Mike Evans just because of how he was playing, especially that first half. I was wondering why they didn't kind of give him more opportunities. But, he was toying around with the DBs, racked up 82 yards, got that really nice touchdown for us. So, that's kind of really about it, though.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It was kind of disappointing to see them not target him a little more. My player of the week was also Mike Evans. He made A.J. Terrell, a really talented young quarterback, look kind of silly a few times, which was kind of fun to watch. But like you said, the defense really balled out, really played well. So definitely, like you said, want to give a shout out to all of them. They played really, really well. Zach, how about you? Who's your player of the week?
I don't want to give a shout out to all the defensive guys because Devin White looked like hot dookie yesterday. Or Sunday, So I'll take him aside. I agree that the defense played really well, and that's why my player of the week is Antoine Winfield. He just seemed to be everywhere. Whenever it was important, he was there. The fumble on Desmond Ridder at the end zone could not have been a more clutch play in a game that we should have won, honestly, because of that play. So for me, he gets it for me. I think he's the defensive MVP so far this season.
Yep, by far and away, not really any argument at all. He's been one of the best defensive players in football, really one of the best safeties in football this year. It's been really exciting to watch him play. But another MVP that I want to talk about is the RBLR shop. That play, that's got some MVM, some most valuable merch. If you want to mix it up a little bit, shop.rblrsports.com. Definitely got to check it out. We'll give you a promo code since the Bucs lost this week. I'm sure it's tough to look at the pewter right now. But if you're looking for some lightning stuff, because they just they just won, so they're playing real well, and you want to check it out. They also have the Rowdies. I know their season just ended, so that's kind of tough as well. And the Rays, they're not in the playoffs anymore, but still, hey, next season is going to come around soon enough. So shop.rblrsports.com, and the promo code is Cannon, CANNONS. Definitely check it out. But after that shameless shop plug, we're going to move on to the second half, which unfortunately I'm afraid is not going to be any less depressing than the first half, because we're talking about the Bucs-Bills game. And the Bills are really good despite their last week's performance against the Patriots. I know they looked just as bad, if not worse, than the Bucs, because the Patriots are really bad. Like, the Patriots might be worse than the Falcons.
Oh, they 100% are. That's not.
Yeah. So this might be a dark second half of the episode too. But before we get into that, song of the week, I want to hear what y'all are jamming to, or maybe a song that's part of the Bucs theme. Zach, we'll start with you. What's your song of the week?
My song of the week is by Lil Dicky. It's Save That Money, because we should have saved that money and spent it in free agency this offseason, our last offseason.
Huh. Okay. Well, shout out Lil Dicky. Yeah, there you go.
I'm telling you, actually, I guess technically we did save that money because this team is full of hot garbage right now.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, they could have spent and got a running back or something, but instead they didn't. Musab, how about you? What's your song of the week?
Honestly, I was rather very down this week. Wasn't really listening to music, but I did have to pick up some new running shoes from DSW. And as I walked in, I heard this kind of funky RB and what do you call it? RB and R&B.
R&B and LR.
R&B and R. I heard this kind of funky. It was called, I Shazammed it. So it's called Tighten Up. And I was like, oh, wow, this actually kind of resembles the Buccaneers. So it's called Tighten Up by Drama. I guess they're a group. I don't know anything about them other than that one song. And kind of makes me think Buccaneers need to tighten up. Let's see how much they tighten up this upcoming game against the Bills. So now there's that. But Carter, what about you, man?
Mine's Gracias por Nada. It's a Bad Bunny song. And it just resembles how I feel about this Bucs offense. Thanks for nothing. You looked like crap. So, that's kind of all I got. Also, Bad Bunny's new album, really good. I'm going to the concert. What's up?
It has nothing to do with Bad Bunny. You just said new album. Blink-182 came out with a new album, and it is so good.
Word?
If you're into that kind of music. I know a lot of people aren't anymore, but I still am. I'm still living back in like 2000. And it's so good, man.
Well, I guess this is a Blink-182 fan account. Hell yeah. No,
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I know that Orioles announcer did like a weird Blink-182 impersonation live on air. That was pretty funny. But
anyway, Orioles a little bit.
Right. Before we get too deep into this Blink-182 rabbit hole, the Bills game tomorrow night, Thursday night. What do you expect from the Bills? Like, do you expect them to kind of play kind of angry? They were kind of embarrassed by the Patriots. Their defense looked really leaky against an offense that was on the verge of benching Mac Jones. Josh Allen looked rough too, but I don't know. Do you expect them to come out and really want to make a statement? Zach, we'll start with you. I mean, how do you expect the Bills to kind of come out after that loss?
Do they want to make a statement? Yes. Do I think they're going to be able to? I don't know. That defense, they've lost Tre'Davious White for the year. They've lost, I believe, Ed Oliver and their defensive tackle are both out for this game. So they've got a lot of injuries that I'm not as scared about this team as I would have been the first game of the season.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think that the Thursday night matchup, it being such a weird turnaround, might be more of an advantage for the Bucs since they're a little less banged up than the Bills are. The Bills are pretty banged up. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I do think that they caught him at a good time, but I still think that, man, it's Josh Allen. The Bills are really good, and I think they're going to come out and want to just beat the crap out of the Bucs. Musab, how about you? Maybe you're in the same boat as Zach. Maybe you're kind of like, well, I'm sure they'll want to, but I don't know if they will. Or maybe you're more like me and you're like, the Bills are way better than the Bucs. They're going to beat the crap out of them.
I think this is just going to be kind of, or I hope it's not like last game. It's just going to be the battle of who plays the better offense. I mean, yeah, their defense is banged up right now. Overall, they're looking kind of mediocre, especially after losing to a team like the Patriots. But yeah, I mean, I think they're looking to kind of turn up the heat big time for sure, trying to make a statement. I think so. It would, if I was them, I would kind of try to just let them know, hey, we kind of had a fluke loss against the Patriots. But then again, what does, running over the Buccaneers really mean to the league or to everyone?
Yes.
Hey, okay, we're the Bills. We just ran over the Bucs. All right, congratulations, want a cookie or something. But listen, honestly, it just comes down to how our offense plays, really. If we can keep this somewhat close or not.
Right.
I have some decent trust with our defense. I just hope that we kind of take advantage of their banged up defense.
For sure. So yeah, that's kind of my counter question. I was going to ask, what do the Bucks have to do to at least make this competitive? Um, so yeah, it sounds like you think that it really does come. I mean, it's come down to the offense all year. I don't see why it would change this week. Is that something that you'd agree with? It comes down to the offense to make this just at least competitive, even if it's not a win.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all that it can be. I think our defense is going to be solid. Do I think we allow only 17 points to the Bills? No, I think we are going to have to put up 28 points to maybe win a game if we come out on top this week.
Dang, yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. The Bills at home, it's going to be difficult. So I hate to kind of take this as a big picture thing because you want to talk about this Bills game a lot, but at the same time, it's also might be kind of a wash. Big picture, the Bucs might end up 3-4 after this week. They're going to be under 500. What do you do moving forward? Because the trade deadline is on Halloween, spooky, ooh, scary. So the Bucs are either going to be buyers or sellers or neither. What do y'all see the Bucs as? Kind of buyers or sellers? And how do you justify your opinion? You explain. I hate to pull out that. I'm like, explain your answer, but do you see the Bucs as buyers or seller, Musab, assuming that they're 3-4 after this week?
Ooh, I'm thinking more along the lines of seller. I think they're just going to be trying to look for whatever they can. At this point, it's just trying to work out whatever we can do for the rest of the season without being embarrassed and trying to see what maybe works, what maybe doesn't. It's just going to be kind of a experiment to see, okay, well, let's at least try to fix some things before the season ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They got to evaluate who they want moving forward because this roster is going to be kind of, full of a lot of replaceable guys. There's not really any cornerstone building block types of pieces other than maybe Tristan Wirfs. A lot of these other guys are aging and they're sort of past their primes. And I definitely agree. They got to kind of just take a look around and see what works. So I'm with you. I think that the Bucs, if they do anything, I think they'll be more likely to maybe deal away some pieces rather than try to give up draft capital to win now. Zach, how about you? Maybe you're more optimistic than Musab and myself. Maybe you're really excited to see Derrick Henry in a Bucs uniform, or maybe you're more of a realist and you're like, yeah, this team isn't going anywhere.
I'm a realist. I do think that we make some trades. I don't want to say we're going to be full-on sellers. I think it's going to be a happy medium of both. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see a guy, God forgive me for saying it, but like Mike Evans, get traded to a playoff team.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, at this stage in his career, as much as I would love for him to be a Buck for life, he kind of deserves it. Like, I know that we won a Super Bowl with him and we've given him a chance in the playoffs and he's done obviously really good. But like at this point, he doesn't deserve at 30 years old, doesn't deserve to be on a below 500 team if we can afford the opportunity for him not to be. But I could see us bringing in guys like a Rashad Penny who has worked with Dave Canales before, and in my opinion is a upgrade from Rachaad White if he can stay healthy.
All right, fair enough. Maybe a bit of maybe Evans goes to Philly. I mean, that would be insane, and they get maybe Penny and maybe a third round pick or something. That would be kind of interesting. That'll definitely be interesting to see.
If we're trading Evans to Philly, I want Swift. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
Well, I also want to be 7-3, but unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's crazy, but I'm not, the rich aren't getting richer in my trades.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel you. But anyway, Musab, how about you? What are your thoughts on trading Mike Evans before this trade deadline?
I'm with Zach. If it's not, I mean, if there's no hope with the Buccaneers organization, it sucks to, say this, but I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, he's getting older as well. Might as well make a move for it. Join a better team. I mean, he's still got it. So why waste it? Honestly. So that's kind of where I stand. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I mean, it does feel like it has to be the right fit. I don't think they're just going to trade him willy-nilly because I do think
Hmm.
that they are excited about the prospect of winning the division 3 times in a row. But at the same time, they've got to realize that they're not going to be very competitive next season. This division isn't necessarily going to get any better, but I don't know how it gets any worse. So this, it's kind of that delicate balance where they want to probably take advantage of an opportunity to just be able to say they made the playoffs again. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on it, truth be told. So yeah, I mean they could very well end up trading Mike Evans. They could very well end up holding on to him. But I hope they do deal him because like y'all have been saying, he deserves it. He deserves to be on a winning football team. I don't think he wants to go through another rebuild. He went through that with the Jameis years. He went through that early in his career. I don't think that he wants to sit there and play a meaningless Week 16 game for again. I don't. I think he's done with that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm with y'all. If they can get a second or a third or a fourth round pick. If it's a fourth round pick, maybe you don't want to trade him, but a second or a third, definitely, without a doubt. So yeah, it's kind of dark, but unfortunately, got to talk about it because the trade deadline. By the time we speak next week, the trade deadline will have come and gone. So hopefully, we'll have some more clarity on it. But yeah, that was kind of something that was on my mind was the Halloween trade deadline. So now moving on to the Bills Bucs games, I've got some over and unders for y'all. We try to do this every episode so that we can have some kind of fun stuff at the end of the episode, especially since this one was so dark. So over under in the light of Mike Evans, over under receiving yards, Mike Evans, 100 receiving yards. Do you think he hits the over on that? Do you think he goes under? Zach, we'll start with you. Mike Evans over under 100 receiving yards.
I think he goes over.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I guess with Tre'Davious White out, this defense is not as scary as it was the beginning of the year. So I see him going over. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Mike Evans over 100 receiving yards. You got it. Musab, how about you?
I'm actually going to go under on this.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know why. I just think that there's going to be a lot of ball sharing going on. That's really about it. Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Hey. I love the ball sharing. I see what your point though is because Chris Godwin's been getting a lot of targets recently. He's been racking up receptions and receiving yards. So yeah, I'm going to go under as well. I don't think it'll be by much though. I think he'll hit 80. I don't know that he hits 100 though. I think he'll have another solid, 70 or 80 yard performance, and he'll maybe get in a touchdown catch or something. But yeah, I'm going to go under with you. All right, so now we'll go Josh Allen interceptions over under half an interception. Basically, does he throw an interception?
Okay.
Under.
You don't think he throws a pick? Okay, fair enough.
He has not been able to get interceptions very often this season, so I'm not very high on the what's the word I'm looking for? The outlook of that happening.
Outlook, I like that. Okay, so you're going under. You don't think he throws a pick. Musab, how about you? Do you think the Bucs managed to sneak away with an interception in this one?
You know what? I think so. I think that, our defense is fired up after a loss like that. I think, sure, did they do a perfect job? Of course not, but I think they did a good job to keep the Falcons that low. I think we're going to be able to rattle Allen up a little bit and get away with at least one interception for sure.
All right, I'm going to go under as well. I like your thought process though, because Allen's a gunslinger. He loves to try to push the ball down the field. He's got to be one of the most talented yet seemingly stupid players in the NFL. He's ridiculous. He'll make an amazing throw and he'll make some ridiculous run, but he also tries to hurdle someone that's 6'6" and then ends up fumbling or just making some really questionable decisions at the very least.
You say gunslinger, and it just it cements my thought even more that he reminds me so much of Brett Favre.
Yeah, no, he's kind of a bigger, more athletic Brett Favre.
Yeah,
for sure. So I'm with you. He's definitely a risk taker to say the least. So now we'll get to predictions. I think I've hinted at it before. I don't think the Bucs win this game. I've got them losing 31-13. I don't think this is very competitive.
Damn.
Yeah, I think this bill. The Bills lost this past weekend, but their offense still looked pretty solid. So I think they're going to put up quite a few points on this Bucs defense. Musab, how about you? Who do you got and what you got for the score?
I want to say that things improve on the offensive side, but Thursday night football, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's always kind of weird, and it's a short week as well. I'm going 27-13 Bucs losing. I just think that the Bills are able to kind of take advantage of a lot of our weaknesses, and I also just think that our offense, unfortunately, won't be able to do too much again, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you. On the road, Thursday night football, it's going to be tough sledding. Zach, what's your prediction for this one?
I'm going to be different, boys. I'm going to be different. Remember how I said it's going to take at least 28 points to win this game?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I think we get 28 points.
First time this season, huh?
First time this season. Remember how I said about the Saints we're going to get over 20 or what was it, 21 points they hadn't allowed in like 12 weeks or something like that?
Right.
I got faith. We're going to get 28 points this year or this game, and they're going to get 24. We're going to come out of there with the win. This team they've taken a hit, and we're going to kick them while they're down.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Zach, I like the optimism. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Despite this whole episode just poo-pooing on this team.
Hey, again, I'm realistic. It's probably not going to happen. But if I want to keep my record alive of just trying to have more of these correct, I got to guess different than you guys sometimes.
Fair enough. No, I get you. Yeah, you got to mix it up for sure.
No, but realistically, I do have faith that the Bills are not as good as we thought they were, like coming into this week.
For sure.
Had you asked me week 1, I would have told you this was a 42-0 loss. Like we would have got our ass kicked. Right. But at this point right now, I think these teams are closer in ability than it looked like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean I'm with you. It's going to be a little closer, but I don't know. That offense is really good, and the Bucs offense is really not. So, anyways, that brings us to the end. We really appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate my co-hosts for coming on and talking some Bucs football with me. And we hope y'all enjoyed listening. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're listening. Definitely give us a follow at RBLR Sports. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can see my boy Zach Lane on TikTok cooking up some fresh stuff for the Bucs. We really appreciate y'all, and as always,
go Bucs!
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.